They're just for the individual precinct, PC or presidency. But we can make some more. Let's have a word of prayer, folks. Thank you for coming tonight. Heavenly Father, we thank you for this opportunity to meet. We thank you for this location that Ron was able to procure for us. Father, we have so much going on in our country that starts right here in our county. And we need your help in 2024 like never before. Father, we ask that you give us your wisdom beyond our years to be kind and gentle to others, but to have our guard up for all the lies and deceit and all the misgivings that are just going on where people are doing wrong. But you're the heart knower. So, Father, give us wisdom and discernment, we pray, beyond our years. Give us a unity, Father, to be able to move forward because we have enemies on every side. And, Father, without your help, we can do nothing. You're the God of all flesh. There isn't anything too hard for thee. So, Father, would you bless us tonight? Thank you for our special speakers. We ask you to give them clarity of thought. Father, we ask that you would allow us to go home tonight with tools better equipped to grow our precinct neighborhoods and to strengthen our party in the righteous cause of salt and light for your glory, we pray in Jesus' name. Amen. Amen. Thank you, folks, for coming. Just trying to follow the order here with the agenda. I do want to recognize that we have our special speaker, Miss Linda Craig, here tonight. Scott Gear will be coming late. Okay, he will be coming late. Our own David Kopp will be speaking. We have Benton Blount, our county councilman here. We're going to save him for last.
I'm sorry.
Did I say it wrong?
No, it's Blount, but Blount is what it looks like, so I never say anything that.
Well,
You know
be
what?
blunt. You're blunt. That'll stick.
If it's anywhere close to that, I never even.
That's what you're supposed to be on. That's what you're supposed to be on. Highly respected. Awesome. We also have tonight Dwayne Lee from Tigerville. He's not in our zone, but this gentleman has done some yeoman work tonight. We're going to need help, gentlemen, passing out his things, and we're going to ask Mr. Dwayne Lee to start us off tonight.
You got some things to do, Justin?
Yeah. He has got some legislative handouts, bills, etc. He's got a blog, he's got paperwork.
Okay.
He's got some yeoman work that he has done for us.
I'll switch him back and forth.
And I just want him to have the floor for 10 or 15 minutes. And then we're going to ask Ms. Linda Craig to come.
Just one, look at the September 12th joint session. So, I'm Dr. Lee, and I have a medical background. I was head of CIO of Florida Department of Regional, and I'm also a researcher. And been 6 years in artificial intelligence. That's my degree, my PhD. And so what I want to do today is talk about health and education. I keep track of all of those bills, and between myself and Amanda, we either write them or write the outlines for them, work with Tom Corbin directly, and Mike Burns and Josiah Magnuson are my two mentors, and I do a lot of the work. So, the first thing I want to do is point out the information on health and education bill status 11 January 24th. What I'm going to talk writing for 2 years on a Substack. And that Substack contains the history of the development of our strategy for healthcare and for family education, how we developed the bills that we did 2 years, 3 years ago, and up to today when I'm creating all the documents that go onto the official record for the two committees, the MMM committee and the medical affairs committee on the other side. So what I would like you to do is subscribe, and then you will be plugged in on anytime you want a little basis to that Substack that I have listed there. There is an app for that Substack, and you can use the app if you want. And then just subscribe to me, that I'm Alethea the Younger. And then the spreadsheet that I just handed out, I just handed out a little bit of it, that's the second. These are the 39 bills and counting, that some of them aren't bills yet, but these are the 39 things that we're working on right now. And if you see something, let me go through the list. If you see a bill number or an action number, then that bill has been filed. If you see it's a new bill, the bill hasn't been filed yet. It doesn't mean it hasn't been written, but on certain bills that there's a political strategy behind some of the bills on when they get submitted. And I can describe, if you kick me enough, I'll describe, I can tell you for each one where it is and how it's going. Now, on the back of the first one, which is the agenda one, on the back there's two reading chart things, because I have to put them on one piece of paper. And on the left, on this left side of the paper, there's an architecture for all the family bills, family-related bills. The problem we have is we've got 5 or 6, depending on how you count them, bills already in, all conflicting with one another. We've got one that's in conference, that means it's been passed by both sides. And so we've tried to use that as a base, but then we've got 4 or 5 other ones that have been submitted by other people, and we're trying to pull off the things that I haven't been included in the original bill and get them so they line up to be submitted as either one new bill or some way to get all the other stuff in. And instead of having to pass all these other bills, and then they're not consistent. So I've gone line by line through all the bills and found things that mean kind of the same thing, picked the best wording to make it consistent between all the bills, and then divided them up into pieces so that they fit this architecture. And you will then, if you actually go to the web page that this is on, which is a Substack page that I gave you, you'll see this diagram, and then underneath it will be all the pieces of the bills.
Not all of us have that one that came in.
Pardon?
Not everyone has the second. This one? Yeah, we don't have that back. First spell.
There should be lots of extras printed for you.
Sorry to interrupt.
So are you good on that? Because basically you have to go to the web page, but that architecture thing kind of fits everything together. And the problem is that we've got 5 or 6 bills that cover different things, but they're the same subject matter, organized way that you could combine them together. So I want and everything, and the major writer is Josiah Magnuson. He's the one that wrote the bills in an organized way instead of trying to get 5 or 6 individual bills through. All the bills, the top bills are education bills, and those relate back to that other figure. And if you go on the actual website and look at the bills, there's a lot more information to the right on this spreadsheet than you can see, is what I printed out.
Okay.
And so you can see what the status is, and I keep you up to date on what the thinking is and what's going on by adding posts. So that one page that I gave you, which is a URL, on the main page, yeah. The second URL, that's the one that has the index to everything. That will always be kept up to date, so that's the one page you stick in into your, favorites, yeah, your favorites, and then you can go to that one. But if you sign up, you'll get all the additional things, and you can comment under anything that I put out there. And I put out stuff, communication around the world to all the people that are working on this. I'll put things out, and you can comment on it, right underneath the article that I put. And I will respond, and that's why you get your answer. Individually, you can comment. Corporately, you can comment. Just keep us in communication with each other. All right, let me go back and let me go through the action items.
So we're going to need to, I did not realize how miscommunications with our team. We've got to move, so
Yeah.
that first URL, can you give us an app? Is the app that one or the second one?
Okay. So the app is in the App Store,
Okay.
or it's the website. You just go to the website, or it's in
Play Store.
yeah, one of those things. So
Okay.
you get the app and then just use that app, and that URL is where you go to get the.
Fantastic.
And that's in there, okay, and we've got 39 bills we're tracking. Some of the bills have been written already, but others haven't been written yet. The top priorities are the abortion bill. That seems to be, there's a problem with the abortion bill because we've got a 6-week bill. But the bill they're trying to get through is the 0-week bill, plus some other things added. And I think that somebody here tonight's going to talk about it. The Family Rights and Responsibility Bill, I talked about what the problem is with like that. The main bill we're pushing at for the COVID is the Consumer Protection for Indemnified Products Act. I can't go through explaining that today unless you ask me a question about it, so I can tell you what it's about and question about. But that is the main thing, that's going to try and cripple Title 44, which is where we have a lot of our health problems. South Carolina Health Information Analytics System Act, our problem is we can't turn in DHEC without information, scientific information. And we have done FOIAs, we have coordinated with them, tried to work with them. They are a brick wall. You cannot vent them until we have the data. There is no data. I can get some data because I'm squirreling, but they don't have any data, and their FOIA say they don't have any data, and they won't admit to having any data except for what CDC has. So we have to get real data. We don't have any real data in this whole state. We don't have data. We're not collecting it. Okay. So our strategy is we're going to focus on those top priority bills that you see there. All the South Carolina Nullification Act has to do with the food problem. So the strategy is that we focus on those bills, but we're going to try and slide in as many as we can of the other ones to focus on. We're going to try and get all the bills written by March 3rd, because by March 3rd they're going to start shutting down. We're trying to ask you to be activists. We want to have anybody that we're going to vote for to become a sponsor of every bill that we've got on here. And if they're not a sponsor, we're going to work against them during the primaries. So that's the political strategy. If you're not a sponsor of the bills that we support, and that would be the 39 that are on here, then we're going to primary.
Thank you. For any kind of questions?
Well, it doesn't take too long.
Okay. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Tony.
That was fantastic, folks. Please go to his website and log in and get all the information as possible. Ms. Linda Craig, would you please come up here tonight? Linda has done some pioneer work. I'm going to let her tell a little story about herself and then give us some ideas of how to grow our precinct.
Hey everyone. Okay, so I am a great, so with Jeff talking about zones, right? I kind of took that into like, I'm kind of a do-it person. If Jeff says, run with it. If I got an idea, I just run with it. So what I gathered from the zone ideas was that the more local we are, the better we can be effective because we keep dropping our own little areas. So I got together with one of the, I'm a zone 4, Linda Young is zone 5, and Angie Fisher is zone 6. So we got really and so they have all their precincts in that zone, each zone. So when we get an idea, we're doing quarterly zone meetings, and we're doing them with zones 4, 5, and 6. So, because I have experience, I mean, you guys, this is all your one precinct, this is pretty awesome. Because I can't get hardly anybody from, oh, this is your zone, okay.
Yes.
So that's good. I can't hardly get anybody from my own, right? I'm setting up emails. I get like Frank, and I got Chrissy, and then I got the husband who I drag if he doesn't have a basketball game. So, you know, but with the zones like this is, we've been able to like really be effective within that local area. So we're doing them quarterly, we're finding a large place, and we're finding, we're trying to really zoom in on what people want to listen to, what they want to hear, what they're really wanting to know. So I've been just getting interesting people to talk, and like right now with the county councils and stuff, they're all going to be coming up. We've been getting different places. I put someone in charge to pick a place, pick a location, kind of delegate. You find a place. Just want to put them a place. Find a place. Who we're going to talk. What's the kind of things that are going on right now? What's effective right now? So I have been trying to get a lot of people are interested in the alternative economy and parallel economy and growing natural foods and staying healthy from COVID and this digital currency stuff that we're being, this gold and silver stuff that keeps coming out. So we're trying to reach people from other things other than just government and legislatively, so that they feel like they're more connected to have some kind of things in common.
What's the most effective way to communicate? Is that a postcard in the mail, email, text? How are you getting your people to come out?
So a lot of times I'll have Oda make me a graphic, so we're putting it out on social media. And then we're sending, emails. So I've got my delegates, and then I send it up to the zones, and then the zones send them out to their delegates. So we're reaching it, we're just kind of, again, delegating top, not that they're top, but leadership down, team down. And I just send them all out to every single precinct that I know I have in those 3 zones. And a lot of times, Angie works full-time. I run a business, so I have a flexible schedule. And Lynn Young has got other stuff going on. So I kind of start it, and then it just kind of evolves from there. This recent one that we did, the past couple have been pretty good. We get about 60 to 75 people that show up. And then about 60, 75 are on live, like they're streaming live. They can't be there. So the past 2 have been pretty successful. We've had county council people show up. We've had representatives show up, house reps, and that's my interesting thing. So I'm inviting our house reps. And what has happened from that is connecting with them like, we've got this many people showing up. This is from your zone. If you're interested, right? So I'm going, my guy's Mark Willis. I'm like, hey Mark, and he's in DC. I'm like, here's the meeting, here's the time, are you coming? And I bug them. He knows my name now. So, you know, nicely, Bubba.
Hey, you have the right phone number.
And I have the right phone numbers. And if I don't get them, I'll get them from Olga. So thank goodness for Olga. So I'm reaching out to them. Angie reaches out to Ashley Trantham. Linda Young reached out to others, you know, and I reached out to our senators. They showed up. We're just asking them, and I say to them, your constituents are showing up. You should probably stop in. And no, it's not a GCRP meeting. We don't run it that way. We run it as a local precinct. And we don't run it as a business meeting with GCRP. We run it as local. It's keep going local, keep going local, keep going local. So this new one that we're doing next week, Thursday the 18th, is Curtis Loftus. The digital currency thing really bugs me. So I'm like, okay. So talk to him. He's really on it. He's really on the ESG stuff, the DEI stuff. He's really great. So I've been chasing him for about 6 months, and she's like, he's got his schedule open on this day. I'm like, we'll take it. Found a place, Malvern First Baptist, next Thursday. So he'll be coming. He'll be talking to Digital RP. And then I've got that bill H3080. The bill's about turning gold and silver into legal tender, meaning foreign or domestic coins going to be legal tender, and this is a bill. So that's super exciting, because if we don't have cash, but we can use our gold and silver, and it's legal tender, at least South Carolina will be at least functional, you know? So I have Stuart Jones, he just confirmed. I was bugging him for a while, like, Stuart, are you coming? You know, I did. So he's a sponsor. Again, sponsor bill, what Wayne was talking about. He's a sponsor, he's coming. Another, Rob Harris is coming, he's not a sponsor, he's not a co-sponsor. He's coming. And then we've got the county council candidates that are running. So we got Gary Collins running for county council, we've got Kelly Long running, we've got Shirley Booker coming. So they're coming, and then we'll talk about what other stuff's going on in the precinct. So it's kind of like finding that way of reaching people other than just legislatively, but what's the part of it? What's the bill numbers? We need to know those bill numbers. We need to know how we're talking. We went to the paper ballot rally the other day in the rain at Columbia. We stopped into some offices. A lot of them weren't in the offices, but we were in the elevator with a few. We were in the lobby with a few. And I just went up to them and I had my little Harrison, not Muscle White's little cheat sheet. And I'm like, look, transgender bill, boys in the boys' bathroom, girls in the girls' bathroom. I'm on it, you know, like, so I think if we just bring it down to simplicity, what bugs us? What do we want to see change? And how effectively we do it at the local level. And same thing with shower readers with city council. We thought in Cincinnati, we thought we stand a chance. And we just got to pull it all together locally. What can you do? What can you do? GCRP did stuff, they taxed, we did all this stuff. We turned it around. We won by 14 votes. And he was not looking good in the beginning part. So we made a change, but we did it locally. We just gathered everything we had. And it really it's still local, right? How does it go? Politics are local?
Right.
Yeah. So I'm working on it. All right.
Awesome. Thank you. David Cobb.
I'm sure most of you are aware of what's going on at the Greenville Women's Clinic. And that is that they've been breaking the laws for quite a few years. And we're trying to get the clinic closed on the basis as a nuisance under 21.8. If you go to a website we created, www.lifeongroveroad.com, you can read all about what's going on. You can see videos about terrible things they do. Among the terrible things I think they do is about the worst is that they kick the Bible around on the ground, or they blaspheme God in really profound ways, and I won't mention what they say. But if you go to that website, if you look at your pamphlet I gave you right on the other side of the Republican Creek, there's the 3 websites that we have. And Life on Grove Road is one of them, so you don't have to write it down. If anyone didn't get a packet, I got extra packets back there. And I think that's really all I'm going to say. Any questions? Oh, yes. Carrie Gifford is, who's our pro-life person. She's very active. They have 2 meetings going on, one tomorrow night, and they're going to have a 3-hour meeting on Saturday. She can speak more into details of what really is going on. I'm on the outskirts, peripheral, and I'm just here to let you know that you write your Councilman Benton Blount, I did, and the city attorney, what's the place, Joe Cornell?
Yes, sir.
Yeah, right, Joe Cornell. He can close this, revoke the license without county council, and it should be revoked. They've had their chance. They should be, if they're gonna be decent people, they should be out there, escorting people. Not down there, assaulting people, breaking the laws, and doing all sorts of vulgar and nasty things. Well, Joe, I don't have anything more to say.
No, that's good, okay.
And-
I was getting the sign-in sheets.
Scott's not here yet, so I guess.
Yes, thank you. Did everybody sign in? We want to make sure we got everybody. Okay. Councilman Blount.
Congressman's definitely not.
Governor.
I brought a cheat sheet with me just because I figured what I would try to do, since we are discussing some multiple different things, but since I am the county councilman, I wanted to actually tell you about some things we're doing in the county, because that doesn't happen very often, so I'm excited when it does. But we've been trying to work on a lot of things in the district specifically, so one of the things I was just speaking to somebody about earlier, which is the homeless encampments that we have. And I know I've spoke about this several times, but the sheriff's department has done a very good job of putting together a team of people that go into these camps and try to offer them help, number one, because there's a lot of people that are battling drug addiction, things like that. We have some veterans that we find in the camps, and instead of just moving them out of the camp and telling them they can't be there, which means they're just going to move to another camp and make that camp bigger, we're trying to offer help where we can. So they've done a really good job. We are going to check in some of those other places and see what kind of help that we can do. But that's an ongoing thing, obviously, with the growth of the county in general. We're just going to have more issues like that we need to get ahead of and be ready for. I wanted to mention that the EPA came out the other day. We went to the announcement for it. The Union Bleachery site is officially approved for the EPA to begin development. So in District 19, we'll actually eventually have something that has up-to-date new retail, food, entertainment, things where we don't have to drive to the other side of Greenville County together, which is something that a lot of people that live here wanted. They wanted to be able to go shop or go eat without having to take an hour and a half to fight traffic to get to the other side of town. It won't be completed completely because there is a section that they still have to treat, but they figured out a way to where they can do that while they're starting development on the other side. And then we, obviously at council, we passed the riparian buffer and the septic ordinance the other day, which is going to hopefully stunt some of the growth in the southern and northern parts of the county, as well as protect our waterways so we don't continue getting contamination. They ran some of the numbers by us the other day and told us some of the stuff they found in the water, and I just couldn't imagine that we're drinking it, but they're trying to get a grip on that, so we're trying to do everything we can do, and it basically was the citizens against the developers, and the developers were trying to tell us how it was going to mess with property values and things like that, and the citizens were saying that the developers were messing with their livelihoods, so they wanted to try to protect that a little bit. So that's been passed. One of the things when I came into office, and I knew I was going to be in a battle, was over taxes. And I know that taxes provide things for us, they provide services, but I think that as a county government, we should come up with ways that we can do stuff without just the result of, coming to you and saying, hey, we need more money. So I'm very proud about the fact that we have almost gotten approval. It says 99.9%, but we had to bring this through finance the other day, a grant that will actually provide $17 million for District 19, just District 19. And it'll be for it's a bridge initiative they're doing for the country, but this one will be for not only 253, but it'll also be, it'll be West Blue Ridge Drive, as well as Sulphur Springs. And then they're gonna do work as well on Watkins Bridge Road and Duncan Chapel Road to do any kind of enhancements there to help with traffic and the swamp rabbit trail. So, those bridges, the one on 253 alone is about a $10 million project. So to have that grant money that we don't have to come to the county and figure out a way to pay for it, to me, that's a win for everybody.
Fantastic.
And then just real quick, the other two things that we're currently working on, so I want to tell you what's coming down the line. If you go down my road, obviously, there's hundreds of food trucks everywhere you go now. And my problem is that if you're a business owner and you run a restaurant, you run a business, you have to go down to the county, you have to get your license, you have to do all the proper things. And some of these food trucks, they haven't done that. So since the city addressed the food truck issue, we felt that like the county wanted to as well, so I've been working with them to develop a food truck ordinance, and it's not to get rid of all the food trucks, that's not the goal, because there's a lot of people that actually support their families with them, but they need to be in compliance, they have to actually be mobile, so they have to move, so at nighttime, technically, they should have to pack up and leave. And of course, their grills and all of the safety issues will be talked about in that ordinance as well, but really, the ultimate goal is to clean up White Horse Road in the areas that need it most. Like if you're turning into a development and there's a gigantic food truck there, you can't see anything. There's been a lot of accidents, so it'll address some of those things. And then finally, as far as trying to offset some of the insanity that I've had to deal with in my first year in office with taxes, is I'm working on I'm talking about it now because we moved it far enough along. I'm working on an impact fee for developers. So if you're going to come to Granville County and you're going to build 500 apartments, you're going to pay $500 per door to do that. And that's going to go to offset some of this expense that they said that we had to raise your taxes for. So this one alone, if we can get council to pass it, and I believe that we can, it'll offset about $5 million of what they said this last budget was. So in my opinion, that should mean we should instantly scale back that millage that they wanted to drive through the roof as well. But there's several of us that are trying to find alternative ways to stretch the dollar, make cuts, to find other ways to bring in income, just so we can support the citizens of Greenville County. And if any of you have any suggestions, ideas, I'm an open book. This is my red book, so it's usually for emergencies, so I can write it down. But anything we can do together, I think that's the ultimate way to get this thing done. I've had to have a couple battles since I've been on council, and the easiest way to win those is to bring the entire army with me. So we had a big room full of people, and suddenly a vote where you think you're going to lose by 8 turns into a vote that you win by 9. So to me, it's how we win together. And that's really all that I had. I just wanted to give everybody an update on stuff we're actually working on, but we're definitely willing to discuss or talk about any kind of issues that are going on in the district or the county that you guys like to discuss if we want to do it now or
Yes.
later.
Let's do it now.
Okay. Yes, sir.
A lot of the new people that are running for county council, not 19 obviously, but other districts, are running. I've seen some discussion on Facebook groups that they're running on the fact that every fiat that comes up for a vote is a 12-0 slam dunk, and seems like we're giving tax breaks to, liberal woke, out-of-town investors from San Francisco and Seattle, Washington, D.C., to the fiat program is supposed to be an incentive to encourage growth, and we're at record growth. Does it still seem wise that we're doing a fiat program?
Well, I've kind of mixed emotions about it overall, because I do see the benefit. I do see the benefit of the fiat program up to a point. My problem is that we don't have a cap. And I've looked all over the country and tried to see how other bigger counties have done it. And most of them do have, even the bigger ones, they do have that kind of business organization that goes out to bring in new business. But most of them say, when we hit a certain threshold, we stop. And I asked the art group just face to face, I said, when do we stop issuing these out during the year once we hit a certain level? And they're like, oh, we can't do that. So that's, to me, that's one of the biggest problems, is that there's no marketing. Once we get 1,000 new jobs in Greenville County, that's where we stop. Or once we, the percentage of the, incentives we're giving away hit a certain threshold, we stop or something. There needs to be a way to stop so that extra money comes in to help the citizens, instead of just giving it to the developers or the businesses or things like that. But all of them haven't been unanimous, and I think we've looked into them more now. My biggest problem is if it's not benefiting the citizens of the county directly, I don't think it's a great idea. So if it's offering 2 jobs and we're giving them 50% tax break or something crazy like that, then that should be a no. But if we're providing citizens jobs and they're offering 400 jobs, if it's citizens that live here, and I don't know legally how we do this, but I don't want, another BMW type company to come, but then they bring all their employees with them, because that adds to growth, plus it doesn't do anything extra for us here. But yeah, that's a big contentious thing in the community right now, and that's something that we got to get a handle on, and hopefully with some of the new challengers to council and just having a new group of people together, we can have the votes to do that. Because ultimately, we're fighting for votes, and we're pretty on the low end of the totem pole at the moment. But I think that's the season's about to change. I know y'all always is quiet. You can't tell me everything in the district's accurate. Well, I mean, in our district right now, is my voice getting really loud? I think that just trying to, in our district specifically, is just trying to deal with the insane density that we have in certain parts of it, the traffic and all, because I know, like most of you go anywhere now, it takes 20 minutes longer than it did 5 years ago. But I would say that our top issue is probably the homeless encampments have grown the most. And something else too, and I can't go super into detail on it, but this food truck ordinance also will help address a drug issue that we have in the district and the county, but the district specifically. We have some cartel-related stuff going on. It's pretty serious, but we have a pretty good idea of a big area where it's happening, and we're going to start working on that as well.
How is the sheriff handling that? It's a cartel issue.
Well, the last time I talked to anybody about it, they almost referred me to reach out to the FBI, because it's pretty, whatever it is, it's like they're scared to, I don't know if they're scared to, or they're not at liberty to, or what it is. So it's more for me, it's gathering information from the communities, finding out like a particular road that I know now has 5 or 6 houses owned by cartel members, and I'm taking that information and getting it sent to people who can send it to whoever needs to have it. So if anybody does have any information like that and you want to give it to me, just know I can get it to the right people, for sure.
Do you have any data on who is living in these homes or buying these condominiums and all these townhomes that are popping up in many subdivisions? Are they all vacant, or are people, no Section 8, right? No, any data that you can?
I haven't seen any, since I've been in office, I haven't seen any new Section 8 developments come into the district anyway. We do have several development companies in Greenville that will come in and develop and then turn and just rent them out. So I've seen that happen quite a bit, especially close to schools. I think the developers level realized how hard it is for people to drive to school now. So a lot of people are willing to move so they can be close to their kids' school for 6 years, it seems like. And those seem to be rentals that are all owned by certain developers. But I haven't seen any of the big ones that everybody's concerned about on a national level come into our area anyway.
So back to the food trucks. So do you think the root of the problem is that a lot of these, majority, are illegal to begin with? They're illegals here, and they're not they're not here on a work visa or have a green card or anything like that?
Well, indirectly, I think that, and I guess maybe even directly, I think that this, part of the reason I wanted to do this is because when you do have to go down to the county and get your business license, and you do have to go get permits, and you do have, the more you have to do that, it's gonna be harder and harder to do that if you're not a legal citizen, so.
But they do know how to get fake social
Oh.
security numbers.
Uh,
So how is
No,
this?
that's way out of my, I wouldn't even pretend to know the answer to that one, but
I
I
just
agree
know,
with you.
yeah, I've seen it, I see it all the time.
Yeah, I agree completely with you. That's the hardest part of general when it comes to the illegal immigrant problem is so much of it can be fake information anyway. You don't know what's what.
It seems to me the easiest way to stop the problem is to stop the buses that come in.
Right.
So they can't get here. I know-
Yeah, that's right, yeah, for sure.
I mean,
Is there a way to find out as to where those buses are coming?
Where they're coming from?
No, where they're being dropped off.
Yeah.
They drop them off at service stations over on White Horse Road.
It's
Well,
all off on
it's-
Cedar Lane Road, across the street, right there, in the middle of Cedar Lane Road too, and tour buses on White Horse Road.
Well,
It's ridiculous.
I will say this, and this goes to show that meetings like this are important because I had no idea that there were drop-off points on White Horse Road myself. But if you, feel free to have some cards with me finally, anything like that, it doesn't matter as petty as you think that somebody else might think it would be. If you send it to me, that's information I can use to really try to help make a difference. So I'll definitely look into that.
In addition to the food trucks, I see an awful lot of people on the side of the road, they're sitting there selling flowers. No one's buying these flowers, no one's buying these little statues. And yet they spend quite a bit of money on them. It seems to me it's just nothing but money laundering. And do they have a license and tags to be able to do this? This is not. This is trashifying the whole area, and the 30 or 40 food trucks is all over the place.
I'm gonna do what I would have done before I'm in the office and just speak without thinking about it first and just say this, because I haven't ran this by anybody yet, but I've talked to several people in the community that they actually hire a lot of people they're legal, but they're foreign. And so he gets a lot of information about what's going on, and from what I've heard, some of those flower, setups are drug operations as well, but they're very sophisticated.
Or maybe trafficking.
It's pretty easy to see it too,
Yeah.
just because they don't buy
But
it.
they have so many people watching them that to have somebody even go in like a setup to catch them is almost impossible. So I don't even, if anything, I just call and try to tell the sheriff's department that we have somebody that's close to an interest of a fast food restaurant or something. It could be a, potential safety issue.
Thank you.
If somebody was buying those flowers,
No.
then those
I
people, I mean, if nobody's buying those flowers, those guys would be out of there quick. Because they're not gonna stand there day after day not making money.
Again, this is just me saying information that I may should or not say. I'm not saying I know for sure this is how they do it, but apparently it has something to do with a ribbon on the flowers or some kind of signal that the person getting the flowers or the person selling it knows to get the right flower pot. That's what they told me. I don't know.
That's exactly what it is.
Go ahead.
Okay, anybody else?
Anybody have any questions? And I'll give you my card, my email address for the county is greenvillecounty.org. So feel free to call, reach out. I have people call me literally now, probably once a week, and they just ask, it could be the most random question, but something about Greenville County, politics or government that they want to know, and I'll be glad to look into it and give you any information I can.
And I would say, you do an online question, Facebook, then you're wide open to answering questions, it's fantastic.
Yeah, I did, and I keep forgetting to mention that, but something that I feel like we should do as council more is that forces us to have a conversation with you, with the public, especially since you're our boss. So I do that on my county council Facebook page. I'll do a live stream and just kind of sit there for an hour or 2 hours and we'll just talk, and I can pull up ordinances, I can show you, so whatever you want to do. It actually was pretty enjoyable the last time, so we'll do that at least once a month.
Awesome. question.
Okay, that's something I talked to one of the other councilmen earlier today about actually, and at the next meeting, we're actually going to, move forward on asking for an external audit. It's a whole different thing from what they're trying to say. They've already done an audit, and that's not nothing, but an external audit to go in and look at all the different branches of our government and say where we could make cuts if we needed to, or where we need to, or where we're lacking, and then that way, we can't somehow fudge the numbers just to make extra money, and it ultimately, to me, we need a lot. Last time we did it, we ended up with a new administrator who we currently have, so that's what 20, how many years ago that was. So the external audits are, so we definitely gonna do that.
I would recommend considering, and I know you have to have a certain level of professionalism, but an external audit can be extremely expensive. There are people out there, CPAs or former CPAs, retired CPAs, that would be interested, because I've had them ask me, say we ought to have citizens external audit.
I think that'd be a great idea too. I never
Cost
understood.
should not be an issue.
Yeah, I think that we should do it as in-depth as possible. I think it would, if nothing else, the people that pay attention to local politics and it would probably gain their trust more because they would actually see everything. That's the way it should be.
Awesome.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
I'm back. I'm here to introduce Pierre, the election, he's our election integrity chairman. He knows a lot of stuff. I think you're going to be quite entertaining. He's a good friend of mine.
Won't take too much of your time. I wanted to come tonight and just let everyone know what's going on with election integrity and the things that the team is doing. First of all, I want to bring up that we do have, in Greenville County, there's a poll workers shortage, including clerks. So if you're an experienced poll worker, you even fill out that paperwork and they'll make you a clerk right now. So, so it's, I'm doing it. This will be the first time I'm clerking, and it's a little nerve-wracking to run the whole poll, but I'm going to do it. So anyway, what you want to do is go on to just do a search on Greenville County poll workers, and you'll get to the right page pretty quickly, and you can put your name in and get trained. Get set up for February 3rd, which is the Democrat primary, presidential preference primary. So we probably need poll workers and poll watchers at that specific election. I'd like to have a lot of poll watchers, and that leads me to the next thing that I'm going to ask you to do if you can have it, if you do have the time. And that at GreenvilleGOP.com, you can sign up to be a poll watcher. And it's right, you go to the main page, it's right at the bottom. You put your name in, and I'll get your email, your contact info, and I'll put you to work on February 3rd and hopefully February 24th as well. So we ask that you sign up for 4 hours at a time at least, and we can put you in any location that you want.
What's the website again, please?
GreenvilleGOP.com. That's correct.
Yeah.
I'm up here and I lose my head, right?
And just know the presidential preference primary is on Saturday.
Yeah.
So it's not like you have to take a day off.
So it's really nice. They're both on Saturdays, so I appreciate that, because I was going to have to take 2 days off work. Okay, so got that out of the way. The election folks have moved into McAllister Square for the most part, into that old, it's a shopping mall.
McAllister Square.
McAllister Square, is it, the exact name. Anyway, I'm looking for someone that's technical, that would like to man it's a traffic camera basically, that night when everyone shows up, when they bring in all the equipment and all the voting material that they have to return. I want to have a traffic cam watching them right there, just so we record how it works and any funny business really, just to get it on camera. So if anyone wants to do that, I'm looking for a volunteer. I will take over from you when I've put my equipment, returned it. But what we've done is We took well, it is a big old traffic camera, it's about 6 pounds, and we built a custom boom for it to get it about 16 feet up in the air. And so this camera can be controlled remotely. And you can sit in your car and just move the camera around. Anyway, so I'm looking for a volunteer for that. That may come out of the Election Integrity Committee, but kind of cool stuff. Okay, so canvassing, door knocking and calling. Jeff, that's happening, I think, Saturday.
Yeah, the Trump campaign has asked us to help them with that, so there's a campaign that reached out to us. So we're doing call banking,
Yeah.
or if you wanted to go out and door knock, we're doing that on Saturday, I think starting at 11 at headquarters.
So separately with that, we've, Election Integrity Committee has created a database and populated it, and it's now going to get bounced against Cause of America's method for validating addresses, and the data returned to us so we know where everyone's, the valid addresses or the invalid addresses. And so you'll be able to door knock and canvass with an app called Canvasser. Okay, what we kind of decided on doing is handing out for each precinct about 50 homes at a time. This is separate from the Trump campaign. This is you canvassing to get folks into the GOP party. And so you can load Canvasser. It's by, I forget the company. Well, if you catch me in this meeting before we go, I can show you Canvasser and help you get it loaded on your phone. So you can door knock with that. You can also, depending on how much data we have, call right from that application. You can email right from that application if we have the data. So I'm working with Jeff to make sure we hand out the data to folks appropriately, so you wouldn't get someone else's precinct. You only get 50 at a time, and we'll keep reloading it. We are working on a virtual canvassing app to work with inside the building at GCRP. I don't have a name for it yet, but it'll have access to if you were to go in, you would have access to your precinct's data based on a role. So you're added, the role will be your precinct. You can go in, look at folks in the community and virtually canvass or call or email. The idea there is that canvassing doesn't always have to involve knocking on a door. You can get them on social media, get them on Facebook, get them on anywhere that you can find them, and reach out to them that way as well. So you might be able to get to more people in your precinct, or maybe not in your precinct, maybe it'd be like in general too. Maybe I don't know how we're going to do it exactly. Yeah, I'm pretty surprised that the flowers on the side of the road are, it's a drug cartel, so you heard me, look at Jeff going, whoa, yeah, that's, I knew about the buses coming in, but not the flowers, and I always wondered, are they really making money, Yeah, they are. They make one sale a day, and that's it.
And there's a lot of them.
Yes, I know, it's
Yeah,
crazy.
there's a lot of corners with flowers.
It's weird.
That's just,
Yeah, it doesn't make sense.
Like within an hour.
yeah,
$10,000.
Yeah.
right now.
Exactly. Okay, so election integrity, I am looking for folks to join as well. We meet the first and third Thursday of the month, right down in headquarters, so you're welcome to come, and we have a pretty good time. Yes, sir.
I have a question. My suspicion is that for the Republican primary, we're gonna get an awful lot of Democrat voters coming over and voting for our former governor.
Oh, yeah.
Is there any way that you can pre-load the statistics that you would expect for that, so that if it looks really abnormal? This is really a disease problem.
Oh, yeah.
I've actually gotten all of the math, because it's disease or not, and if you've got too many deaths, then it'll pop up. So I'm concerned that we're gonna end up voting for our former governor instead of for Trump or DeSantis, whatever, just because it's gonna be Democrats.
So, let me answer it this way. I can tell from the data we have, we've loaded up to 2022. Okay, so I got the 2020 data, which was very interesting. we can see how folks voted. You know, well, we can't, there's some limitations, but we can tell who they voted, Democrat, Republican, that kind of thing. What I'm looking for right now is voters that are duplicately in the data, and we're bouncing that data against Cause of America. Okay, let me back up a bit. When you get the data from the state or whatever source you have, there's going to be garbage data in there at some point. I mean, there's just going to be some of it, no matter what you do. What you've all heard about the ERIC database and how we have concerns with that, shutting it down. Okay, well, these, yeah. Well, Cause of America, ERIC reaches into the post office data just like Cause of America does. And Cause of America actually has a contract to bounce addresses, names and addresses, and get the corrected address. Well, that's what ERIC was intended to be for, and then it turned into, you know, God knows what. So what we're doing with our data right now is getting the correct addresses. So I'll be able to tell if voters are duplicately, you know, like literally they have 2 voter IDs. And they show up pretty quick. If you load the data properly, it's easy to find them. And you can find them all for the whole state. So, so there's that. Now, crossover voters, we can't really do anything about it. You know they're going to do it. You know.
We need a bill, it needs to be number 40 on here, we try and, you know, make sure everybody's sponsored.
This is not, I'm just for family and.
Yeah.
There's several bills on election, but there's not one, I've got one that's already submitted that's 2-year re-registration, but that's not, and you have to register by party.
Yeah, and we need to have closed primaries, I think that's what you call
It's
it.
already in the state code.
Oh, really?
Yeah. 7-9-20, look it up and read. It's already in closed. The party can close the primary like that. All they have to do is establish a membership in the party as a requirement to vote in the party primary. It's been there since at least 2010.
Okay.
So what's the intersection of?
7-9-20. Somebody I was going back to, oh, no, you have to read it this way and the grammar's that way. I was like, that's a simple guide, just read it. So it's already there.
You say the party has to make a decision?
All the party has to do is say that you have to be a member of the party to vote our primary.
So Drew would have to do that.
Well, the SCGOP since 2010.
Make sure they won't.
Yeah, that's all they have to do.
Not until 2025.
Well, if you'd like to, just after the meeting, drop by and I'll show you Canvasser if anyone wants that app. You can load it today, so it's not a big deal. And then what I'm doing, because I have a lot of DBA background and software development background and whatnot, I'm pairing up with Nikki to, once I get the data loaded, she's going to assign who gets what data, so then we kind of keep that separate, separate duties. So you'll likely be working with Nikki on your precincts data, and then when you're done with that 50 or whatever that number is that we give you, then you'll get more data to canvas with. So we don't just give all that data out at one time. So we want to see the results when you canvas. The questions that we put in canvas are like, is there a flag out there? I want to know. And what type of flag? May not be one that we care to know about, but again, we want to know who our donors are that we want to go after. People to reach out to, people to try to get into the party, and whatnot. So, all right. Any questions for me?
What's the difference between a poll watcher and a poll clerk?
Oh, okay. So this is what happened with the county. They used to be poll workers. So when you work for the county and you work in the election, they used to be just a poll worker. Then they made everyone a poll manager. And that confused everyone because it looks like, oh, I'm going to manage the poll. No, you work for a poll clerk. And so the poll clerk runs the election poll, and the poll managers work for that clerk. Oh, yeah.
It's very confusing. Other states will have the poll manager as a head person, but everybody else is a poll clerk. South Carolina's got a poll clerk as the head person and a poll manager, so
Yeah,
it makes no sense.
Yeah, it's really, really odd. Not to be confused with poll watchers or observers. So a watcher, okay, let's confuse everyone now. So a poll watcher really works for the party, and you have to get trained. What we do is we train poll watchers, and you get a little sheet of paper with Yvonne's name on it saying, yeah, you represent the Republican Party, and you can go watch the poll. Now, here's the thing, anyone can walk in and be a poll observer, and you don't have to be connected to a party. And if there's enough room, you can just watch the poll. So it is limited, I mean, the poll locations are gonna be limited by space, and the court can kick you out if there's not enough room. And what I'm gonna recommend, and I did in our poll clerk training, is that if there's not enough room for everybody that wants to watch, rotate them in. Never say, no, you can't watch the poll. Oh my God, that'd be terrible. But, reason with them saying, hey, there's 20 of you out here. 10 at a time, please. You can rotate every half hour or something. I don't know. I hope I don't get that many watching my poll, That Scott here, we gotta watch him, Yes, sir.
Is there still compensation for a poll worker?
There is. It's $135 for a poll manager worker, and I think it's $195 for a clerk.
Is that a 4-hour tour?
Yeah, for the poll watcher, there's no, okay, so let me back up. If you work for the county, you can get, as a poll manager, you make $135, as a poll clerk, you make $195, or somewhere around there. If you're a poll watcher, we pay you with a thank you. So,
The tour of duty for the poll worker is 12 hours?
yes, it is. Yeah, it's
14 hours.
It's actually, for a clerk, it's like 14 or more, because,
14 hours easy.
yeah, and it really depends on how quick you get in that line at night. And, they take the stuff out of your car, someone comes out, you pull up, they take stuff out of the car, and then you have to go inside with your green bag, and they check it, that you have everything, so. Yeah, and I've never done it, I'm just, like I said, just been trained, so I'm reading that handbook that Olga gave me. Thank you, Olga.
So that's a 14-hour day, plus you had to do a 3-hour training.
Yeah, and a 3-hour training, so the money, I'll spend $50 easy just on pizza for the poll manager, so it's not a money-making venture, it's just,
Just to let you know, if you don't already, that there are a lot of businesses that will donate, so you don't have to pay for those meals.
I'm gonna try, once I know my location, I'll.
Thank you letters.
Oh, okay.
And I usually let it here last night.
Okay, great. Well, I figure I'll ham with pizza, I don't know.
I did observe when I was a poll watcher that the Democrat Party, this is the last election, when it was Democrat and Republican, voted for the mayor and the town, city council at large. The Democrat Party actually sent representatives to the different polling locations, bringing bags of snacks and food for their watchers
They can.
and observers.
Yeah, it makes sense to keep them there, keep
I
them
don't know
fed.
what else is in the bag.
Hopefully there are no flowers.
Anything else? Anybody else? Keep this moving.
All right.
Fantastic.
Thank you, everyone.
Okay, Dave, coming back up here.
Again?
Yes. Tortured the man in the back. Behind the scenes. Dave has created a website for our zone, and I want him to show you the different features.
You don't have a mouse here?
You want that?
I don't like the mouse, I can't deal with these little homes. Okay, there's the website, any questions?
Hey, click around.
Okay, I'll click around. Most of you already know a little bit about the website, you were probably here the last time. And where's my mouse? There it is. And we sent out 423 Christmas cards at Christmas time. And so we created this little section where I put a little video. And then we did this. You click on how to join for a little more information. And welcome to our precinct, and there was a speech I tried to give that didn't do it that well. And then dear fellow citizens, and I talked about the importance of the need to grow. Because if you don't grow, they're not going to be afraid of us. So, then at the bottom of this, something that Joe mentioned to me, he said, people need to know about starting from scratch if you don't know anything. And so if you start from scratch, you know, how to find your voter information, to register to vote, and some other questions, and then where to go, and then finally you get to the emphasis mySCGOP website, video. Now, and then Tommy put this page up here, which I think is a good idea. Where do you stand? He has a bunch of questions, and people can answer them. Are you concerned what the left is doing to our country and all that stuff? And I put that start from scratch again. I duplicate a little bit so people will see it. Here's a page. I found that some things weren't quite 100% correct. You got general information, mapping and stuff like this. We want to go for GS mapping and answer those questions. And then if you guys, with your Zone 11 here, inside the book, it tells you, the book I gave you tells you a little chart that says how many Republicans you have in your section and how many you need to grow. And that's about 7% straight down the line. And this is data from like last October. And I only got a couple people's contacts information on here for right now. And there's our minutes from last minute meeting and the video that was given to us. And then there's a saluted precinct nations for our saluted precinct. Of course, you guys can send me stuff and I'll put it on the website. My mouse is kind of like evasive, isn't it? And all this is in that packet.
Dave, I'm thinking we ought to have the doctor's website and his Substack somewhere on there, please, a button to click.
Why not?
For Dr. Leeds' Substack.
I think I'd be a great thing. I'll be happy to do that.
If that's okay with you.
It's on that handout, so.
Yeah,
I'm
I'll
sure.
put it on the website so people can click on
Click
it.
right there, then.
And right here is something for, I'll put, if you have a business or something like this and you're a patron, I'll just put it on here. One of the guys that comes to our meeting, Coffee and Politics, he has a Patriot Business Alliance. And I really think highly of Patriot Academy, and I would recommend that to anybody. And here's something that Benton Blount told me about, and I put it on the website. Blunt. I'm so sorry. Anyway.
Dave, might I ask you a question? It looks to me like that's a saluted precinct website. Are you saying this is actually default Zone 11 website?
Why don't you go back to this, where I have everything. I have a whole Greenville County in here. Okay, so I got maps for every zone and every precinct in here. Okay. So, if it grows to be a useful tool for all of Greenville County, then all of Greenville County can use it, and I'll be happy to put it on there. It has a different emphasis than the Greenville GOP or the Saluda, mySCGOP.news. This is like a workman's website, for trying to do the important stuff. And then, as far as doing the important stuff.
Did you build this?
Yeah, I put this together.
Can you build a website for me?
I can do a website, easy. And then here's my resources. Please scroll to see all the content. Here's some different buttons that you might be interested in. Greenville useful links. And Truth of Education. This is a passion of Susanna Savannah. I don't sit I don't say anything right. And then here is about a neighborhood split and precinct strategy. Tools are going, click on that for precinct strategy and rules of the Republican Party and convention 2022 here, business related. I don't know how to organize organize things real perfectly. It's kind of like you have to explore this website to see what's on there. So here I have elections. Of course, that's in your pamphlet right here. What's coming up for 2024. And this is some other stuff. Up to February 24th. And there's I got one video of Donald Trump. And then if you want to know more about Donald Trump, what he accomplished in 2000, his first term, there was a website, it's called, it's a government website, and it's trumpsaccomplishments.gov, and it's quite interesting, and so when you meet a real liberal, you can go ahead and share some of those things that you can find from that. Okay, and of course, you want to know what the elections are, you can click on the election, what year. And then here's the gallery, one of my favorite parts. Now, library of videos, and now we have a guy named Lance. Now he's in North Dakota right now. It's 35 degrees below zero, and he's taking care of some family issues, and hopefully he doesn't freeze. But every week when he was here, and you notice the library of videos, you can see his videos, and they're quite entertaining. And I would suggest that you watch it. He does it at our prayer meeting every Wednesday night. And then here is some about the Merry Christmas, and you can see just like cats. And you can see Trump has done one of the videos of the screenshot of Trump has done really good compared to the other guys. And here's the front and the back of our Christmas card that we sent. And I guess I put some on here with Trump on here.
The generals.
I don't know what's on here.
We gotta have a meeting.
I will say I do need help. And right here's my favorite part. When I started getting involved back in February, back in July,
Oh, yeah,
I
he
said,
was having those
I have 2
pictures.
glasses of wine. And I said, well, let's just go ahead and invite everybody on the precinct.
Did you say
Cinema.
wine?
Yeah, I drank a little bit of wine. I was feeling really good.
I must have come to the wrong party.
No, we didn't have wine there. When I decided to go ahead and just say, well, I'm going to go and tell everybody to come. And then I was surprised that they did. and I was very happy. We had about 50 people there. Now, it was raining and storming, and my neighbor came across, and you see these things that sitting out here? Well, the wind came, and it blew it down the street, and my neighbor was out there running to catch it, and we ran out there to catch it. We put it back up the best we could. And that was our little party that we had. And then we had the Trump rally that we all went to. Okay.
Did you have some wine tonight before you came?
No. You ain't gonna make me feel bad.
No, you're doing good. We just want to keep it
I just
rolling.
want to just get comfortable talking.
Okay, here we go.
If you don't know who I am, I'm Councilman Benton. I'm part of the rework and membership committee. I've been working with Scott with a database, putting data together. Before we even started with the database, I put a bunch of data together for each of the precincts and each of the zones so that they could go out and door knocking and try to get the Republicans that we know already in their neighborhoods. But when we get this other database up and running, it's really going to help us out where we can cross-check names so we don't know the right people in the right house, and also we can start updating phone numbers and maybe try to get some email. So the other thing that our precinct has done, or we've done, is Bible hopping. You don't have to do it all in one day. I mean, you break it up, a little bit at a time. You just take one street and just say, okay, next Saturday we'll just go on this one street, just go knock on doors, meet your neighbors, and see if you can get some some interest in people interested in it. When I first came, it was just me and one other lady, and the man that was president before me had been sick, so he kind of had stepped out. When I went out first door knocking at the first rework, I brought in 9 people. So we grew our precinct pretty good. Hopefully, we're going to try at least double that this time and keep going. If you need information, like Scott said, we're going to probably be working with Nikki or with myself, and contact us if you need some information for your precinct, who the Republicans are in your precinct and stuff like that. I can provide that for you. Also, we want some feedback from all the ECs and presidents in each of the precincts in our zone to, what are you doing to help grow your precinct? If you have ideas, I think, like Paula does in her precinct, they get gathered together on a Sunday night, just the people in the neighborhood and try to, just talk a little bit about what's going on and stuff like that.
And 2 of them showed up tonight.
And so.
Here's my fellow Buxton patriots.
Working for their precinct, probably, we can do stuff like that too. But if anybody has other ideas, please let us know so we can share those ideas and help everybody get more people. David had a cookie, I don't know what to call it. Yeah, cookie swap. So people made homemade cookies and came to his house and everybody swapped cookies. He got to meet his neighbors that way. It was a really good turnout for that, so.
And all the family
Anytime you have holidays coming and stuff like that, it was have like a block party or something like that might help. But we would like that feedback, if you could send that feedback to me or put it on our website, whatever.
Awesome. Thank you.
Thank you.
Tommy, like a lot of these volunteers in the office, I don't know how when they sleep. They put in 10, 12-hour days. Dave's done a fantastic job, David, with the website. I ran into a situation this past week where for my precinct to grow, I'm going to have to start a neighborhood watch. Because I had to call the police because something was questionable in my neighborhood, on my street. I called late on a Saturday night. I got a hold of some information. There is a deputy, M. Carter, and there's a Sergeant Natalie Hill, and they are emailing me back and forth. I'm going to have a meeting with them soon on how to start a neighborhood watch for our neighborhood in order for me to break the ice for our neighborhood. And as soon as I learn, I'm getting this to Tommy, I'm getting it to David, getting it to Jeff and all that, so that they can disseminate this information. I think that would be a great way. I don't know anybody's neighborhood that doesn't want to be secure or be safe. And the fantastic councilman that we got here, that you can just text him some information, and within 24, 48 hours, if not that day, he's getting back to you where he's running with it. So we've got an excellent opportunity just with the neighborhood watch idea, as well as what Paul is doing and this gentleman is doing. I want to open it up. I had to, here it is. With the remaining minutes here, I got Ron Camacho from Furman. Do you want to speak about any kind of history or what you have planned for your precinct at this time? What's worked for you?
Our biggest problem, I apologize for not standing up and turning around here. Our biggest problem is, I wrote down a couple of words here, maybe get some feedback from the audience. It seems to me we have a problem with either indifference among the electorate or something worse than indifference. I send out emails regularly, at least once every 4 or 5 weeks. Rarely does anybody respond. I have about 275 names. Every once in a while, somebody will say, thank you for doing it. And normally that's a person in the neighborhood that is a friend. So I'm trying to assess, how do I overcome that? Where do I go to find information? We're talking about people that are new to the Furman precinct. I have 150, 200 names. I got those years ago. It has never been updated. I've asked for information. Send me the information. But apparently, it's not available. Maybe this gentleman that spoke earlier can get energized in there. What if I'm going to reach out to new people? I'm going to know who they are. And that's my
Councilman,
problem.
do you know of any way of getting that information? Hold that thought. Yes, doctor?
Amanda, doctor, she has a great idea. Actually, I've kind of worked on it too. And that is to work through churches. That is, fundamentally, I'm turning the screws on all the pastors I know, that it's time to stand up and be counted instead of being quiet. I mean, here was our current president over in a church, and yet the Baptist churches around here seem like they don't want to have anything to do with it unless they're that.
You have like a one-page email to pastors that we could forward if you email them to us. Do you have anything on your
No,
site?
you have to visit.
Okay.
You have to visit. You have to first find a person in another church.
Okay.
Get them to buy into the idea that they're going to be looking for people in that church, and get them to join your group as just a little local. I held a little local men's Bible study where we studied things in the Bible that said about what's going on today, and that grew into 7 people, and then they dispersed, and so, and that it's always going to be educational. You won't live for so long.
I understand.
Your first career.
Thank you.
It's a
No, that's good.
generational problem.
Yeah, we'll give it back to Ron.
Yeah, I was just gonna say, the only thing I can think of that I've noticed for myself anytime I've done email type campaigns, that anymore they've got so many fail safes against what they call spam, that sometimes it's not spam, but if it's a collection of email addresses, it's very rare that they actually get them. So it could be that they would respond, they might not have seen Ron's email somehow.
Okay.
But then I say that could be one of the reasons, but, you know, outside of that, it's just, anymore it feels like that there's a mixture of people that do mail and read the paper and watch the news, and the other ones are on social media, so maybe it's a matter of integrating those two and having a group but then it is in a whole separate issue about just updating it and making sure they get the content to come back in.
Ron, go ahead. You had another thing to report for your precinct, and then we'll move on.
I just got a couple of items here, but I think we're gonna run out of time, so I won't
Okay, yeah,
be
we
late.
labor at precincts.
The other thing I wanted to suggest, when we have our next,
Corporate business meeting.
business meeting in February, whatever, I think we should begin to pursue seating by zone. All the Zone 11 folks sit in the same general area. I also think that it's necessary that we get to know each other in Zone 11 personally. I don't know what the log shows, but how many presidents are here? I see my EC is here. How many other ECs are here? That's a problem, and we need to try to address that to get those folks to come to, so we can meet them.
Good luck. I just know people, and I know, being in the credentialing chair for a while, the spouses want to sit with their husbands or their wife. So one's an EC and one's nothing. And they want to sit together. So just trying to put all the ECs in one spot is like herding cats, right? But if you had a pole sign like you do at the state's convention, Zone 11 and anybody wants to volunteer, fantastic. I don't think that would be looked down upon. The next zone, the next precinct is Miss Paula Leewood. Miss Paula Gonzalez from Leewood. Public speaking is fun.
Well, we continue to meet every Sunday. We call ourselves the Buxton Patriots, and we've grown to about 8, sometimes 9 people, but we are every Sunday, and we get together, and we're Christians first. So we pray, we fellowship, we discuss what's happening in the world, and pray again, and we disperse. But we've actually been focusing on being prepared, like what's our plan, because there's a lot of stuff that we're seeing on the news that's very concerning, and, you know, people don't, where I came from in California, you know, I lived across the street from someone for 18 years, and he never, like, he wouldn't even wave. I never knew the guy's name, you know? I meet every Sunday with, like, 7 to 8 of my neighbors, and it's awesome, okay? So that's what it is, you gotta care about your neighbors. So, like I said, we're Christians first. We've discussed that, you know what, we really want to reach more people in our neighborhood. And we want to inform them what's going on. We have a homeless issue going on in our neighborhood, in the forest behind it. There's like people have been dumping tires. One of the guys, he's already spearheaded that in our group, and he's been contacting the police and got the tires cleared up. So, but that was, like you were saying about safety or the neighborhood watch, that's one of the things we want to do. We were going to kind of get a letter together as we door knock. We're going to door knock for Trump, wish us luck, this weekend. And, but also just talk to them about like what's really locally happening just in our little neighborhood. We've got some issues to handle. So that will be kind of like our foot in the door to really talk to people and get to know them. Me personally, I'm working a ton, so I leave when it's dark, I come home when it's dark. I'm not walking my neighborhood. So, and then a kid in sports, so everything's kind of spoken for. So, the fact that I have a small group, that's who I know in my neighborhood. But I do want to get out and get to know other people. So that's the plan right now, just to really show people that we care about them in our neighborhood and get to know them and hopefully get them involved. That's it.
Awesome, thank you. We have 2 more precincts represented tonight. Dan Healy, Sulphur Springs, and then we'll finish with Roger Whitley from Westwood.
So what we did was we broke down in our precinct, people by age group and who we thought was going to be easiest to recruit right off the bat. And we broke it down in about 4 different categories. And then we'll meet every couple of weeks and update how many people we got out. So during the downtime in between meetings, each of us, 6 of us, will go out and knock on doors and do door hangers and stuff. And then we try and get 50 a week. And then kind of relax during the holidays. Big fat bro.
What are the results? Like, what do you notice?
Right now, not much. Everybody's just in their swing right now,
Everybody's
you know?
chilling.
Right, they're not wanting, they're complacent, they've got their plans.
But it takes 7 plus touches, you know, after a while, they're like, why does this guy keep coming here? You know, and then they'll start.
Yeah, and that's how I got 5 no trespassing now. But,
It's all right, Mr. Whitley. Give us an update and any kind of vision you got. And thank you, he helped write most of this book.
He actually came up with the idea of these precinct books in the first place, so.
Yes.
He started it out.
Yeah, I don't know that I have much for my precinct other than I spent some time talking to our housing development members the other day. I don't know that I have any specific.
What is
date for our next meeting? That's what I'm looking.
Yep, and it's somewhat difficult because, like, right before the reorg, we walked neighborhoods for multiple days, talked to 100+ people, dropped several hundred door things. Got 70 people that showed up to the larger meeting. And since then, I haven't been able to get any of them to respond other than like an okay to text messages or emails or anything. So even the ones that were excited are not excited right now. And the other ones have no interest. So it's like, one person, and that's about it.
I think people get a little nervous about this stuff, and, one of the things that we're working on with Scott and awesome with the database thing is being able to find the prospects that are qualified and good prospects to help the precincts and get people out there. But even when we do find those people, we're gonna have to start touching them, whether it's, repeat phone calls, or if they can give us their email address, get on email. I mean, we've got to start building that out, but our vision and goal for it is you're gonna have, through the database, your app, your internal app that will have, and then you'll be able to contact them easier that way, or even the office, contact them. Hey, we give them a survey. Even if you just call somebody up and say, hey, it's real thing, come to the party, ask them a survey about, have you heard about the tax increase? Have you heard about these things? Not selling, and not, telling them to say, donate to this, or, but you touch them a couple times, and then hopefully by reorg 2025, they'll be like, oh, this is kind of, I'm kind of used to this. And that'll help the precinct leaders with some additional touches through other methods out there, so that's the goal.
We've got some fantastic tools, and we had a great meeting tonight. Just before we close, we got to pick a date for another meeting. We try to do it on Thursdays. February's busy, March is busy. April, the next Zone 11 meeting.
April 18th.
18th looks good. Does that look good to anybody?
Control my calendar.
Okay, I hear you. I've got like 7 sheets, so I gotta say between work, church, home.
That's good for me.
18th, okay? We'll write that down. 7 o'clock.
Is there a possibility we do it at 6:30?
6:30 is fine with me. Is it fine for y'all? 6:30, okay?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay?
Here?
Here, or if Ron can get us something bigger, because hopefully we'll grow.
You said 6:30?
6:30, the 18th. Okay, and somebody be thinking and getting with me, Tommy, and David about a bigger place. This place is fantastic.
Love it.
Yes.
Yes, right.
How big a place are you looking to, how many people?
Maybe 10 or 15 more. There's 23 here tonight.
They can add more tables in here and stuff and chairs.
This is.
We're not even close to the capacity.
Okay.
Is there additional parking?
Yeah, the parking's full.
And live out on the other side of the.
They say you can park in front of the.
The only other option is in the woods down here.
That's right.
I have a question.
Yes.
About that. Is there this is something that anybody in the room may know, and I should know more than you, but, a county-owned building, can we meet there if we have the permission to do so? Because we have the Berea Community Center.
You got
I think you should be able to beat it.
you got the thing here. Where's the zone at?
The Berea Community Center is right here, I mean, it's right down the road, and it's probably, it's the old Blockbuster.
That, I was gonna say, that'd be a blockbuster event.
Yeah.
Is that there's the one that used to be, like $50 there?
Yeah, there's a Dollar General.
Oh, Dollar General.
But it's big, and now we have this kind of setup there, and
Is there a contact that we?
I'll reach out to them.
Fantastic.
We also, in April, we can get it, Riverbend, they have sheds outside.
Yeah.
Okay.
If we can use that, we just reserve the space, that'd be.
I failed to recognize our state EC, Jeff Davis. I wanted him to go ahead and give us just a couple of minutes of a brief update. Mr. Davis, of what happened this past weekend and what's going on. I see the emails, I'm reading it. Well, down in Columbia, And
Oh, you mean, the first day of session?
the first day of session.
Oh, a lot of us, on Monday, or Tuesday, January 9th was the first day of the second half of the 2023-24 legislative session. So, Laura Shar, who runs South Carolina State Elections for the whole state, I think Scott and his team with election integrity, that's kind of their charge, is to support her and what they're doing. They had a election integrity rally at the State House. The weather was crazy, and they still had about 150, 200 people show up. So we had to have it indoors as opposed to outside. There was one other group, the small venue group, was supposed to have their rally there that day. They were probably smart and canceled it because I think they had entertainment and singers and all that kind of stuff outside. But the legislature, I mean, this is the big thing that's going on right now. The legislative session has started. So this is, we got the legislative session, we got people fighting for bills, we're reaching out to legislators and pushing these things, as hard and as fast as we can. In April, we will have the congressional district conventions. So there will be all 7 congressional districts we have. The SCGOP will have conventions for those, and where we will elect new leadership. So like Nate Lewis is the current chairman of the 4th Congressional District. He will, that's a 4-year term. We will elect somebody new during that convention. But that goes for all 7. We will also elect at that convention delegates to the national convention. So each congressional district has 3 delegates and 3 alternates. So that's your first opportunity to become a delegate to the national convention. That's 21 total. There's 50 for the state of South Carolina, so there'll be 29 additional delegates and 29 additional alternates that will be elected at a state convention for this purpose, which I believe will be in May. They haven't scheduled it yet, right?
Who all can vote in that?
The delegates to the state, to these congressional districts and that additional state convention will be the delegates to the state convention before. So our delegates and alternates, there was an email that came out today, I haven't looked at it yet, but from the state party, actually they didn't send me a copy, but they sent Yvonne a copy, she had forwarded me a copy, they still won't put me on the email list. But we're gonna put out the directions on how they're gonna calculate that and how we're gonna be able to get the list. We've got the rules committee working on it right now, because there's a lot of people who also say that, this only happens every 4 years, and, there's a lot of people, new people involved in the party across the state who don't really know how it operates. I've never been to one, so I can't.
So are they gonna do this in person or online?
It should be in person this time. They did 4 years ago, I think they did it online or something like that. So, it should be in person. We'll see with that. But that's, April, then you'll have May, you'll have another state convention. So if you're a state delegate, plan on, or an alternate, plan on going back to these things in April and May. And then obviously on June 11th, we've got the Republican and Democratic primaries. So, Benton Blount, I'm going to say, is not up for re-election. He's got 2 more years on his term, but we've got 7 county council members that'll be up. We got 4 that I think we're kind of looking a little hard at. But we also do have, Steve Shaw's announced he's going to run for White Loftus. He's retiring. He's going to run for that Senate seat. So we got to find a replacement for Steve Shaw. And I think it's pretty common knowledge out there that Sandy Jubilakis is going to run for Jason Elliott's old House seat. Jason's going to run for the White Loftus' Senate seat as well against Steve Shaw. I don't know if there'll be anybody else who gets in that race. But, Stan's going to run for that. So we got to find a new replacement for Stan. We're working on that. We might actually have someone. So, I'm not supposed to say that, or I can't say that? Oh, I can't say it. So it's going to be an exciting and a really busy time between now and June 11th. So, it's going to be constant. But it's also a good opportunity to be able to grow your precincts, grow the party, grow what we're doing, because we're getting out there and networking, meeting a lot of people. So Trump campaign, one of the state directions was there at the headquarters today. We're making calls and getting ready for calls and all that kind of stuff. So, these are, Trump people are our people. I'm not saying you have to be a Trump supporter. You like to say this, or I'm not sure if you like me. If you're not, I'm not worried about you.
We got the literature today.
So what now?
We got the literature.
We did get some bumper stickers and some pom-poms from Nikki Haley in the mail today. So we did distribute 1 bumper sticker. But this is the opportunity to meet and bring more people in. So we need numbers. And numbers is what's going to change this and turn this around. We need everybody to stand up and everybody to get involved and everybody to start watching what your legislators are doing. So we got 1 here today. But next time, invite them out. You see what Linda Craig is doing. She's got Curtis Loftus coming. it's fantastic, she's got a couple of people coming. But this is a more relaxed environment for a legislator to come and actually talk and report about this as opposed to a business meeting. But I will tell you, the business meeting on February 5th is going to be, I think it's going to be really exciting, and the fact that we've got 2 state solicitors coming. We've got David Pasco is going to return. He spoke for us 2 years ago on his own, but he's bringing Kevin Brackett, state solicitor out of York County. We're talking about judicial reform. And we saw the presentation this past Monday. It's really tight, and it's really some examples of what goes on in our judiciary that'll probably blow your mind. So it's going to be pretty exciting. So look forward to seeing everybody.
Awesome, thank you for the update. And, just to recap, Ms. Kimberly's gonna type up some notes. She's a great secretary for Zone 11. And we'll get those on the Saluda GOP website. We'll submit those to headquarters with the bullet points, with Dr. Leak's information. It was just jam-packed tonight, okay? Yes, Ms. Paul.
Can you send that out?
We will, that's what I'm saying, as soon as we get it collated, it's going out in an email, as well as both websites, okay? Ours and Greenwood GOP.
That sign sheet still have?
We did, yes, but it was,
We didn't sign up.
okay, just give her the, yeah, I guess, thank you.
Does Zone 11 have an email chain of people you can opt in or?
Tommy, Zone 11 have an email chain that can be, this gentleman can be added to? Yes. See that gentleman in the hat back there? He's the go-to guy for emails and stuff. Who would like to close in prayer tonight? Who would like to close in prayer? Please, somebody. Thank you. Thank you very much. Folks, we're going to close in prayer.
Dear Lord, thank you so much for giving us this beautiful county to be responsible for and to live in. And I pray that you would bless us with the wisdom to have the foresight to do so. And we pray that you be with everyone and that you keep your protection and your hand on us. And pray for these meetings that are coming up this coming year and all the elections will be taking place, that they would go well, they would go fair, and that they would put the best people in charge to put this entire state ultimately in the right direction. We praise you, we thank you, in Jesus' name we pray. Amen.
Amen. Good meeting, folks. Thank you.